Hey everybody, I'm Lori Sulpizio, and today we're going to talk about self-awareness. This is actually a really big topic, and it is going to take more than one video to get fully into it, but it's so important, and there are some immediate things that you can do to become more self-aware. So I thought we would start with this video, defining what self-awareness really is, and then cover some small steps about how you can begin developing it. And then we'll build on this very important life and leadership skill, and we'll expand and deepen our ability to live a life that actually demonstrates self-awareness. Self-awareness might seem like something easy and obvious to understand. And on one hand, it is a very straightforward topic, but it's also one of the most difficult things to put into practice. Most of us believe that we're relatively self-aware. We think we know ourselves, but it's actually a very rare quality, and recent research suggests that only about 10 to 15% of people are truly self-aware. So check your thoughts right now. When you heard that statistic, did you immediately think, oh, I'm in that 10 to 15%, I know myself? It's possible. But statistically speaking, it's likely that we're all in that other group, the bigger group that's not so self-aware. This is not to make us feel badly about ourselves, but it's to invite us to begin the process of deepening and building our self-awareness. For the last 50 years, researchers have used varying definitions of self-awareness. Some people consider it to be the ability to monitor our inner world, while others define it as a state of self-consciousness. Others still describe it as the difference between how we see ourselves and how others see us. But I'm going to make it really simple for you. Self-awareness is knowing yourself deeply and accurately. This is not just knowing the good parts about you, but knowing your flaws. It's knowing what works for you and helps you live at your best, and knowing your triggers, the things that cause emotions like anger, irritation, frustration. Self-awareness is knowing what you're good at and where you might need to ask for help, where you might need to grow. We can break this down into two parts. There's internal self-awareness, which is how we see ourselves, our own values, our passions, our thoughts, our feelings, and the impact that we have on other people. This is kind of an inside-out awareness. And then there's external self-awareness. This is understanding how other people view us. This is more of an outside-in awareness. Ideally, these two aspects of awareness are aligned, meaning the way you view yourself is similar to the way other people view you. So for example, if you view yourself as kind and generous, hopefully other people would also view you that way. And if others can recognize that you might have a tendency toward an angry temper, then you would also know that about yourself, so you can work to better control and manage your anger. One thing that's interesting is that research has found the more successful you are, the less self-aware you are. According to a Harvard Business Review article, the more power a leader holds, the more likely they are to overestimate their skills and abilities. One particular study of more than 3,500 leaders in different roles, different sectors, found that high-level leaders more significantly overvalued their skills compared with how others perceived those skills. So the research offers two explanations for this. One, the higher level leader, you simply have fewer people to give you honest and candid feedback. And two, the more power somebody holds, the less comfortable people feel giving them constructive feedback. Some places where I really see this show up are with parents and teachers and sport coaches. These are high-level folks, and they hold tremendous power over the youth and teens in their lives. Because of this, the people who could offer the best feedback, your students, your athletes, your kids, are the ones least likely to give it to you because they are concerned about the power you hold over them. So here's the thing. If you're a high-level leader, if you are in a position of power over others, then you really need to set yourself up with people around you who can give you open and honest feedback. And then be willing to hear that feedback and take it in. Challenge yourself to be one of those people who actually listen to the ones that you're trying to lead. So parents, listen to your kids when they give you feedback. Teachers, sport coaches, accept the feedback your students and players are giving you. Leaders, listen to your direct reports and your colleagues. Too often we dismiss the things that people tell us because we just aren't willing to hear it. I'm going to give you another explanation why so many of us are not self-aware. It's just plain difficult. True self-awareness requires accepting and embodying everything about ourselves, and every single one of us is filled with flaws. It's hard to acknowledge and accept those flaws, but I promise you will find many benefits once you begin to practice self-awareness. It's true, self-awareness has become a bit of a buzzword, and you maybe have heard it over and over, but it's for good reason. Why is it so important? Research suggests that when we see ourselves clearly, we're more confident and more creative. We make better decisions. We have stronger relationships and are more effective communicators. When we're self-aware, we're more productive at work and we get better promotions. We feel happier in our lives. And for leadership, we know, research says, self-aware leaders are more effective leaders. More effective leaders have more satisfied employees. Satisfied employees do better work. You're probably thinking, yeah, right, all of these positive effects and they're all researched? Indeed, they are. If you're interested in looking into the research, I'm going to put some links to these studies in the description. But think about it. All those positive benefits, just by developing self-awareness, why wouldn't we want to start developing that practice? So let's start with a relatively easy and low-risk practice for developing that internal awareness. That's knowing your inner self. So think about this. What works for you? What conditions make you perform at your best? What are the little things that set you up for success? If somebody were to ask you right now to name the variables and elements that make your days great, that make you the most productive, could you share them? Do you like things to be planned out in advance? Or do you prefer a more spontaneous approach to your day? How are you with surprises and the unexpected things that arise? Are you a big picture person or a technical details person? What area of focus do you find most fulfilling? Do you like structure? Do you thrive with flexibility? Know yourself to know what works and what doesn't. Here's a personal example for you. My daughter does not like surprises. If she has a doctor's appointment or if we're wanting her to try a new activity, so we've signed her up for something, she has got to know in advance. In the beginning, I would tell her, why are you flipping out? You have to go to the dentist. We all do. It's something that we do. But then as I started to be more curious, I realized that it wasn't going to the dentist or going to the appointment that really bothered her. It was not knowing she had to do that. And I realized that kids have very little control over their days. They have to get up. They have to get to school. At school, they're told what to do, where to go. There isn't a whole lot of freedom. So for her, knowing when she has an appointment is really about her own sense of agency over her life, over her days. So now we make sure we let her know when there's something coming up. She can't always schedule her appointments. She never does, because there has to be an adult available to take her. So it's based on the adult schedules and we make those decisions, but we tell her in advance so she feels a sense of personal power over her days. Here's another example. I worked with the team where one member really loved having a detailed, scheduled, and structured agenda. Without an agenda to guide the meetings, this employee felt like the team couldn't really get focused and they didn't move through the things they needed to or get good work done. Then there was another employee on the same team who felt like the opposite. The detailed agenda was actually what was limiting. This employee felt like the team lacked creativity, and a big reason for this was that rigid agenda. Both employees wanted the team to do the best work, but their individual desire for either structure or flexibility was getting in the way. The good thing is each of them recognized their desire for this pattern because they were working on self-awareness, and they noticed it also showed up in other areas of their lives. For example, the one who wanted structure would structure everything from vacations to how they would spend their holidays. The other one liked to keep things way open. So we were able to come to an understanding where there could be a bit of both. There was an agenda that provided some guidance, but then the team also built in flexibility to have open and generative conversations and time and space for creativity. The key with this situation is that each person was aware of their need, and they knew that this need was directly related to them feeling productive and successful, not only as individuals, but as part of this team. So be attentive to your day and how you move through it. What do you need to be successful? What do you need to be productive? Be willing to notice things about yourself. Get in touch with the things that work for you and the things that don't. The things that bring you joy, the things that don't. With self-awareness, we can then structure our days and create the boundaries that we need to set us up for success. Okay, one caveat about self-awareness. It is not then the excuse for, this is just the way I am, deal with me, or I'm aware of myself and this is me. No, when we recognize parts of ourselves that have a negative impact on ourselves or on others, the opportunity is to then grow and develop those parts. As with everything we do this without judgment. We do it with curiosity. We do it so we can deepen our connection to ourselves, deepen our connection to others, and deepen our ability to make a difference in the world. For those of you who work with youth and teens, teachers, coaches, parents, we really need to develop this in young people. Let's create spaces in our classrooms, on the court, on the field, in our homes, for students to understand themselves and understand their place in the world. This is going to build up their self-awareness, and it's going to start them on the path of living and leading consciously. I promise you, it is going to make them better. So give these a try. Get to know yourself. What works for you? What doesn't? We're going to get more sophisticated with our self-awareness as we move through this video series. So we'll start with this easy initial step. Journal about it. Consider it. Talk about it with people. Ask people what they notice about you. Develop who you are. It's going to make you better. Please like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to the channel to get updates. We're putting out new videos and new content to try to help all of us live and lead more consciously and from our best self. I know you have a choice where you spend your time, and I'm so grateful that you spent your time with me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.